convince politicians not to interfere. Unfortunately, rarely is that successful. You know, I make a living not as an economist but as an investor, and I try to use my knowledge of economics to understand which governments are screwing up their economies the most, and then I try to avoid investing there. You know, there's really what happens with economists, and it's unfortunate, is the economists that rise to prominence are the economists that can get appointed to, you know, high-profile positions in the government, and they usually come up the ranks in the university system. And the only economists that seem to rise are those that favor big government. They're Keynesians. And what happens is politicians want to use these economists to justify all the things that they want to do anyway to get elected. And so, you know, you have the things that we have now, the stimulus, the bailouts, or all these ways to try to pump the economy up, and they get economists to justify it, which is what politicians want to do. They want to give away something for nothing. They want to tell people that there's a quick fix, that there's a miracle cure, and that's what they do.
Before this, the economists told the world that we should deregulate everything, and that's what has created this problem.
No, unfortunately, we didn't deregulate anything. The reason.
I'm sorry. I mean that probably I forgot more economics than you know. Yeah?
Well, look, the reason that I was able.
The way you describe economics is completely wrong. I mean, the predominant economics school has been the Chicago monetarists.
No, it's not
Keynesian.
No, it's not. Well, look, when I was out there in advance from 2004 to 2006, predicting each and every aspect of what was going to happen in 2008 and 2009 in specific and uncanny detail, the reason I was able to understand exactly what was going to happen is because I understood the way government subsidies, the way central banking was distorting the free market, and I knew what was going to happen because I understood those films. I wrote two books on the subject. I wrote a book in 2006 that came out in February 2007, Crash Proof: How to Profit from the Coming Economic Collapse. How did I know that collapse was coming if I didn't understand economics and I didn't understand how the government was creating it? And I was arguing for years with people that were telling me that everything was great, that there was no problem, because they didn't understand how how the Federal Reserve, how artificially low interest rates, how government created moral hazards like guaranteed bank accounts, like guaranteed mortgages.
Yeah, so you want to
go
back to the 18th century and have free banking, huh?
Sure, I want to go back. Yeah, I want to go back then and have the Industrial Revolution. When America became the wealthiest country in the world because we had free market capitalism, because we were on the gold standard. We had no income tax. We had no Social Security tax. We had no state income taxes. We were free market.
Right.
I got my history right.
By the way,
America
did you have slavery?
Country in the world.
Did you have slavery?
America was the most protectionist country in the world.
Can I just ask you, Peter, can I ask you, did you have slavery in the 18th century? And did you have slavery in the 18th century? And did you exterminate the native populations of America?
Well, sure. And there was slavery all around the world.
Oh, great! And,
I'm not defending it.
Fantastic, free market, great. Come on.
Carry created America in the 19th century 55%. Come on.
Why were all the Europeans flooding on boats to come to America if things were so difficult?
Just a second.
Yeah, you know how many people emigrated? All four of my grandparents started out in Europe and ended up in America because they were looking for freedom. They were looking for opportunity. Unfortunately, they're going the other way now.
Well, I was going to say, what we could do, given that you predicted it was coming, is just ask you what's going to happen in the next few years, and we could all bugger off to the bar. I've got Martin here, who was in government. So who did you look to for your economic advice? Where are you going to the universities and seeking out these Keynesians?